Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 4.
Grand Forks police say the man found dead in a motel room on Saturday was a homicide victim. Authorities say he's 55-year-old Jeffrey Shulzitsky of Grand Forks. Police say his injuries led them to believe that there could be foul play involved. It's still an ongoing investigation, but police say the incident isn't random and there isn't any danger to the public. And no changes for Fargo Public School students for now. The Instructional Plan Committee says it wants to keep their current learning model for the rest of the semester. The decision keeps elementary students at in-person learning 4 days a week and middle and high school students in the hybrid model. The committee has a goal of returning to full in-person learning by January 19th. And Minnesota Governor Tim Walz addressed the state's coronavirus response today. He said the state will be shortening its COVID-19 quarantine length to match the CDC's new guidelines. The new guidance says people who are in close contacts of a confirmed case to stop quarantining after 10 days or after 7 days with a negative test, 1 day or 5 days later. And today marks the 79th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. On December 7th, 1941, President Franklin Roosevelt called it a date which will live in infamy. Hundreds of Japanese bombers attacked the Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard. 21 ships at the Pacific Fleet were sunk or damaged. More than 2,400 Americans were killed in the attack and some 1,100 more were wounded. And that wraps up today's Top 4 at 4. Now let's get a first look at our weather with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Hey, Hutch.
Hey, Callie. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. What a wonderful start to the work week. Look at this. Across North Dakota, we have 40s here in the valley and 50s out to the west. It's been a cooler day in central Minnesota. Bemidji, Wadena, and northbound, we have temperatures that are in the 20s still. So as we head into the evening, we have increasing clouds from the west. This is not necessarily a bad thing for our temperatures, though. There's a view of those clouds on the increase from the Devil's Lake area, our home of economy camera there. Here's a look at your forecast in Fargo tonight. Temperatures slipping into the 20s, increasing clouds in Grand Forks, and temperatures in the 20s as well. Not much wind today. Hey, we have some mild weather, but some big time changes, Callie, are on the way as winter is planning to make its way back. A first alert weather day has been issued. I'll tell you all about that here in a few minutes.
Oh no, thanks so much, Hutch. And there's no word yet on what caused a huge fire in North Fargo over the weekend. In fact, fire officials say it could be weeks before we find out anything. A former furniture restoration business, 1420 First Avenue North, burned for over 5 hours. The Fargo Fire Department upgraded the blaze to a third alarm fire, calling for help from the neighboring West Fargo and Moorhead fire departments. And NDSU administrators met with members of the local Black Lives Matter group today. This comes after multiple days of protests on campus in response to a racist Snapchat group involving NDSU students that used racial explicitives. Several members of the group met with administration asking for action, changing their hate speech policy to include more serious punishment for those who violate the policy, and then it appears on the students' records. Also asking for more resources like counseling for students of color and more representation of minorities in NDSU leadership.
The administration could have decided to take more stern action on these children. They could have suspended them, expelled them, or taken academic probation. Me and some of the other black leaders in the room felt, if perhaps it wasn't an all-white administration or an all-white group of individuals trying to affect change on campus, perhaps something more could have been done and we would have never had to be in that meeting in the first place.
He goes on to say they need more than words, which is all they have at this time. They need action. Black Lives Matter plans to meet with NDSU again later in the week, asking for a statement from campus leaders committing to change and taking action toward mitigating hate speech. And a former personal trainer has been sentenced to a year of probation after pleading guilty to sexually assaulting women under the disguise of a research study. David Saylor was first charged with 2 counts of sexual assault. Court documents now show those were changed to disorderly conduct after sexually assaulting 2 female co-workers, but he was already serving time in jail for touching himself in front of a client. Saylor told each of his victims that they were participating in a study. And the Minnesota State Patrol says troopers in the northwestern part of the state stopped 4 drivers who were going over 100 miles per hour during Thanksgiving weekend. One person in Clay County was stopped after hitting 126 in a 70-mile-per-hour zone. They also got 2 seatbelt tickets, and another driver was caught going 100 in Douglas County. This driver also got a ticket for reckless driving for changing lanes and almost causing a crash. And a bill passed by Congress will return nearly 12,000 acres of land to the Chippewa National Forest to the Leech Lake Band of Ojibwe. Documents show the government illegally seized hundreds of thousands of acres from the tribe over 70 years ago, even though the bill's 12,000 acres is just a fraction of the original land. Tribal Chairman Pharaoh Jackson said in a statement, "Passage of this bill helps restore a sense of justice that generations of Leech Lakers have worked to achieve." And a North Dakota man has been reunited with his siblings after being separated in the foster care system over 20 years ago. We first told you about David White and his siblings 2 weeks ago, and now they're together again. David and his wife traveled to Ohio, where he was able to see his sisters Courtney and Amber for the first time in over 2 decades. White tells Valley News Live that he and his sisters are starting new traditions as a reunited family. And if you're looking for some ways to spread some holiday cheer, Valley News Live is teaming up again with the Great Plains Food Bank for our virtual food drive. From food, there are a number of items you can purchase and donate right from your phone. Every $50 donation provides 150 meals to those who need it most. To find out more, download our free VNL News app, look for the virtual food drive, and click to donate. And coming up on Valley News Live at 4, Joe Biden is set to reveal who he's chosen to lead the nation's fights against the coronavirus. We'll have the details from Washington next.
And our mild start to December and winter continues with a gorgeous sunrise today. Temperatures hit near 50 degrees for many out to the west. We're warm for a little while before big time changes come. Details are next.